Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 59 of Magic and the Law of Attraction, speeding up magical results. But Daddy, I want it now. Oh my gosh. Do you remember Veruca Salt and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Of course you do. But if you want it now too, this is the episode where I'll break down spell timing. I'll teach you how you can nurture your spell work to bring the quickest results, why and when you might not want to rush things, and how to support your spell work to get the best possible result. I'll even share some of my favorite ingredients and tools to get your spell results faster. So don't wait a minute longer. You don't have to wait a minute longer. Learn with me right now how to get quick results to your spell work. So before we dive in, I want to let you know that there is a way that you can meet with me for free and ask me your questions about spells, law of attraction, spirituality, witchcraft, Slavic folk magic, spirits, divination, and more. You can join me on Sundays for the live podcast recording, and for the extra bonus content, a live Q&A after the podcast. It's free to join, and all you have to do to join is be a member of the Spell Squad. And all you have to do that is you have to sign up at spellsquad.com. It's no Patreon. It's no secret. You have to pay to get in or this or that. No, it's free. And it takes place every Sunday, except for the first Sunday of the month at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern. If you want to see past episodes, you can check them out on my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Madam Pamita, or you can listen to the podcast by going to magicandtheLawOfAttraction.com or babayagasmagic.com. You can also find it on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, or your favorite podcatcher. So go head over to spellsquad.com and sign up today so you can join the Spell Squad and get a ton of free goodies and join me with a cup of tea and download some deep spiritual knowledge. It's always fun in our little clubhouse, and I would love to see you there. So today we are talking about how to speed up your spells. Well, to begin to talk about that, we have to talk about spell timings. So I have loved the idea that we have all of this pop culture, witches, movies, TV, music, everywhere. We've got witchcraft everywhere right now, books, articles, everything, right? But our pop culture references sometimes, as great as they can be, because they make witches seem accessible, making witchcraft seem fun, there is a problem with it, because a lot of times in movies and television, they show someone does a spell and the result comes right away, right? Sometimes that happens when we do our magic, that we get our results right away, but most of the time, it takes some time to get our results from our spells. Remember that magic is bending and shaping reality to our will. And just like you can imagine an iron bar that we have to bend, it's going to bend really slowly. And so our magic is like that. It has to sometimes get to that place where we're moving it, and then we get it to where we want it to go. So when it comes to the timing of seeing the results of our spell work, the first and best thing you can do is to acknowledge that sometimes your spells might take some time to get the result. One of the worst things that you can do for your spell work is to set yourself up by having an expectation of instant results. For example, if you did a candle spell and your candle completes burning, and you expect to see results right away, what can happen when you don't see the results right away? You can think that your spell didn't work, or that you're not deserving of the outcome, or that you'll never get your wish. All of those negative emotions surrounding your spell work just kind of cancels out your spell, and they will not help you get to your magical goal. We have to believe in our outcomes to see our spell come to fruition. So if we're doing a spell, first thing to do is manage expectations. Just trust the spell work, let it do its thing, and let it come in its perfect timing. Now, if you're doing a spell, even to begin with, we might want to look at what type of spell we're doing. There are different types of spells that are better for different types of magic. If your intention is something that has a start and an end date, you're going to want to do a different kind of spell than if you're doing something that is ongoing. For example, if you have a test coming up in 3 weeks and you want to do well on the test and you want to do a spell so that you do well on the test, it has a start and an end date. That test is coming in 3 weeks. After that date, we don't need that spell anymore. So we can do a spell working that has a start and an end date. Something like a candle spell or doing a series of baths would be great for that kind of spell that has an end date to it. Other types of intentions might not have an end date to them. Like, for example, if we're doing a spell of protection or doing a spell for prosperity, those are things that we're going to want ongoing, probably for the rest of our lives. So if your spell is ongoing, you might, or your intention is for something ongoing, you might want to do a spell that is also ongoing, like carrying a charm bag or wearing an amulet or creating an altar to that topic. Those things are ongoing and can help keep that magic going over a long period of time. With a candle spell, or any spell really, it's useful to think about the timing as steps on a journey, right? If you're taking a journey, you're going somewhere. For example, I'm in Los Angeles, I'm driving to San Francisco. And if I'm driving up to San Francisco, I like to look for the signs along the road. Oh, I just passed Bakersfield. Now I passed Gilroy. Now I passed San Jose, and so on. As I pass these signs on the road on that familiar route, I can realize that I'm moving forward and I'm getting closer and closer. It's just like seeing those signs that say it's 350 miles. Now it's 200 miles. Now it's 100 miles. It gets you excited about the outcome. And when we work in our magic, we can also get more energy, more excitement, more enthusiasm, and keep that energy going by looking for the signs that I call the 3 M's: messages, movement, and then the manifestation. Messages are things that we get from the universe, things like seeing synchronicities, interesting words come to us, unusual symbols. We hear a song that means something. We see a billboard that means something. If we're looking for these signs from the universe, that can tell us that our magic is working. And we should look for those when we finish a spell. Now, a few weeks into it, we might start to see movement around that topic. So movement would be things moving in a positive direction. For example, if I were applying for, doing a spell, I haven't had any luck finding a job. And so I do a spell to find a job. And then all of a sudden I start getting calls in for interviews. That's movement in the right direction. It doesn't mean I have my job yet, but it's moving it in the right way when I start getting interviews when I haven't gotten interviews before. Manifestation is the last signpost. Of course, that is the final culmination of what we're looking for. That's getting the end result and getting what we want. So those are the things that you want to look at as signposts along the way, not just wait for the manifestation, but look for these signs and this movement along the way, the messages and the movement that are going to help us realize that our spell work is working. But what happens if we don't see those signs? What happens if we do a spell and really nothing happens? We don't get signs, we don't get movement, nothing. Well, I think it's useful for us to do one of these things. It can be any of these things, but think about what it is that you want to do. You might try doing your spell just as you did it before, doing it again. Sometimes doing it again gets it hooked in and it starts working. You might want to refine your intention in some way. Maybe you asked for a specific job, but maybe you want to ask for something that's like your best job instead of asking for a specific job. You might want to try a different kind of spell. So maybe if you did a bath spell, maybe you want to try a candle spell, or maybe if you did a spell with incense, you want to do a charm bag or something else. So try something else that's for your intention and see if that doesn't work. You can do an open road spell if you want to open up the path to your better outcome or the thing that you're wanting or the result that you're wanting. If things are really blocked, you might want to do a blockbuster spell if you feel like there's a hard block in your path preventing you from having that good result. So if you're not sure what's going on with your spell and why your spell isn't working, I recommend that you get a reading with a trusted reader. It could be me, one of the readers here at the Parlor of Wonders, or another reader that you trust, to see what's going on and see if there's a different approach that you can take or something else that's going on, and that can help guide you onto what the best strategy is after a spell doesn't work. Sometimes I often feel this as an experience, which with decades and decades of experience. Sometimes I feel like it's in our best interest, instead of picking a specific time for something. Sometimes, we do have to have a specific time. For example, the test, want to do well on the test. Yes, that has a specific time and you can't change that time. But for these things that could have a little more openness, I always think that it's in our best interest to allow for the right timing rather than fast timing. So the way I do that is by making a contract with the universe. I ask the universe to open the doors for me, and I maybe widen my intention up a little bit. When I mean widening up, I mean opening it up a little bit. So, for example, you might want a new lover in your life, and maybe you want to allow the timing to be a little more flexible on it, because if you're inviting a new love into your life and you don't know who they are, they might be with someone else right now, and they may need to wrap up that relationship before they come to you. If you bring them in right now and force that, you're going to end up with a love triangle, which may or may not be what you want. Right? So you'd want a person that's ready and available to be with you, and maybe something has to happen for that to happen. And so I trust in the timing. When I allow that timing to be a little more flexible, I find that I get better results. If your spell has the room for it, it's not time sensitive, you can say in your incantation something like the perfect outcome in perfect timing. I love that phrase tacked on to an incantation because it allows, and it also sets my mindset up so that I know that it's going to come. I have confidence in my spell, but I'm not fussing if it's not happening right away. Now, another way to help manifest faster is to help things along by working both spiritually and materially. When you're looking for a job, you can do a job spell. That's great, but you should also be doing something on the material level. You can, send out resumes, apply for jobs, ask around, network. I mean, do all the things to pound the pavement. Do the spell work, yes, because you want the spiritual support, but also do the material work too, and each supports the other one. Another thing that always helps is acknowledging the steps along your path. You might have a big dream. Maybe you want to be a millionaire and you're doing a spell, and you're, doing a spell for being a millionaire, but it might take a minute for you to get that $1 million to be the millionaire. So you can wait, I guess, until you get that $1 million and then celebrate your spell working. But what about if we acknowledge steps on the way? Working with a lodestone, for example, for this kind of prosperity is great. Anytime some money comes in, whether it's your paycheck, you find a $20 bill on the street, you get a windfall of some kind, anytime you get in that money, you can feed your lodestone a little magnetic sand. And that acknowledges that you're moving closer to that goal of being the millionaire. And it gets you in. It also reinforces by doing magic each time money comes in. So it feeds on the energy as well. It like increases the energy because you're acknowledging it. So I think acknowledging those steps along the way can be very, very valuable in your magic. Also, another example could be like healing spell. Like if you want to be at full health and you have health issue that you're working on, all those little incremental things, when you get a blood test, for example, and the blood test is better than it was before, or you're able to move more, or you're seeing improvements of some kind, you can acknowledge that with some spell work, or just acknowledge it with a thank you to your spirits, or whatever you want to do. But acknowledging those little steps along the way can be very, very helpful to give you a positive outlook on your spell and to feed your spell with positive intention to manifest more quickly. What happens though if you do all these things and you still don't see any changes? It's not coming, it's not moving, it's not doing anything like that. Then I think it's useful for us to take a step back from our spell work and reflect on our spell. Do we need to make a change to our intention, for example? Maybe we need to make a more short-term intention rather than a larger intention. Or is there a way that we can open up the possibilities? So, for example, instead of having a spell to say, I want Johnny to fall in love with me, it might be useful to have an intention like, I want to invite my perfect romantic partner, or I'd like to invite my soulmate to come to me, or I want my true love to come to me. And it can be the person you're thinking about, but it also opens up the field to more possibilities. And I often think that brings better results. And I also think it brings faster results. Now, in a minute, I'm going to tell you my favorite tools for speeding up spell results. But before I do that, I want to share a little something that I have here at the Parlor of Wonders. It's very near and dear to my heart. Do you know that you can hold the secret to successful and beautiful candle spells right in your hands? I've written a best-selling book called The Book of Candle Magic. It's Candle Spell Secrets to Change Your Life. And if you don't have a copy yet, you don't know what you're missing out on. This is not a recipe book. It's not going to be a list of spells, do this, do that, the other. It's not that. It's a book that teaches you the hows and the whys of candle magic so that you can create your own totally customized candle spells for yourself and feel confident in casting them. It features authentic candle magic that really anybody can do. And my joyous book encourages you to dance in the moonlight and rekindle the spark of magic within you with a little wick and wax and flame. Whether you are new to candle spells or you have years of experience, you will find lots in this book that will expand your mind about candle spells. And you'll feel me guiding you every step of the way as you perform the spells and gain the confidence to create your own. The Book of Candle Magic empowers you to manifest more happiness, love, prosperity, and fulfillment. You'll learn how to make candles from scratch, do candle readings, start your personal grimoire, add some pizzazz to your rituals, and so much more. The Book of Candle Magic has over 1,200 reviews on Amazon and has earned a 5-star rating and has consistently been in the top 100 bestsellers on Amazon's Magic Studies charts. If you don't have a copy, what are you waiting for? Get it at your favorite bookseller or get a personalized signed copy at parlorwonders.com. And while you're there, be sure to check out my other books, Baba Yaga's Book of Witchcraft, Slavic Magic from the Witch of the Woods, and Madame Pamita's Magical Tarot, using the cards to make your dreams come true. All books are available, personalized and signed. Just look for them at parlorofwonders.com. So what do you want your spells to get going? If you want to move things along, you can add elements to your spells that will speed things up. And I'm going to share them with you now. These are some of my favorite tools for speeding spell work along. First one, my first go-to is instant gratification oil. Instant gratification oil has the essential oils, the herbs, and the crystals to bring a faster result. Also, along with instant gratification oil, we have open roads oil, which is to open up a path that's kind of clogged to get things moving and moving quickly, and blockbuster when you're really facing some hard blocks on the road to your spell manifestation. These oils can be used on charm bags, on your body. They can be added to a bath. They can be used for dressing a candle. There's so many ways that you can use them, and you can check out all the ways to use them by going to Parlor of Wonders, going to learn and looking at the how-to guides. When you go to how-to guides, look for the the spiritual oil how-to guide, and it will tell you all the ways you can use oils. Now, instant gratification, open roads oil can be used on its own, blockbuster can be used on its own, but all three of these oils really shine when we bring them in with another oil for our main intention. So, for example, if your spell is to manifest money, you can use money magnet oil or abundant prosperity oil, and then add instant gratification oil, open roads, or blockbuster to your spell to really get things moving. We also have a fast results candle spell booster pack. A booster pack is a set of taper candles, extra oils, extra herbs, glitter, petition paper, crystal, and so on that we bring in and we add to an existing candle spell kit. You take a candle spell kit of any topic and you can add a fast results candle spell booster pack to speed things up. Another way you can work to manifest quickly is to start with a spell that is about fast results. The Fast Fox candle spell kit is about fast results, and you can choose the fox and the color that corresponds to the fast results that you want. So for example, you could get a red fox for love, a green fox for money, a yellow fox for success or fame, and so on. And if you want those fast results, this candle spell kit is designed for that. You can also add herbs to your spell kit, your charm bags, your your candle spell, your potions. Herbs like cinnamon and ginger are sweet, hot herbs, and they bring heat and action and movement to a spell, but they're also very sweet. So they bring positive heat, positive movement to your spell. Bringing color magic, red and orange are both colors that are about movement. Red is about passion, go for it energy, victory, movement, and so on. And so that can speed things up. Orange is about opening the path, opening the road. So that can speed things up as well. So bring red and orange into your spell. Wear red and orange. That's another way you can do that. You can work with crystals. Pink or red adventuring is a wonderful crystal to speed up a result. And I love working with that one. You can bring in saints and deities and spirits and power animals into your spell work. Saint Expeditus is the patron saint of urgent causes, and he is used in a lot of magical systems to bring quick results. Now, the reason he is the saint of urgent causes is because at the time he was a Roman centurion and he was converting to Christianity. The legend goes that a raven appeared, and the raven was symbolizing the spirit of evil. And the raven told him, cross, cross, cross. Sounds like a raven talking, right? But in Latin, that word cross means tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. And in the story, in the legend, it goes that the raven was trying to tell him, you can wait till tomorrow to do your conversion to Christianity. But Saint Expeditus reacted energetically and crushed the crow with his right foot while exclaiming, hodie, 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 which in Latin means today, today, today. I will not leave anything for tomorrow. From today, I will be a Christian. So it was an idea that he was going to take the bull by the horns, get while the getting's good, and do it today. There was no time like the present. So that's why he's the patron of urgent causes. And if you want to work with him, he's a great one to work with. But there are also lots of gods, deities, and spirits that you can work with. Hermes or Mercury is the divine messenger who had wings on his sandals so that he could fly very quickly. So he is a wonderful one to work with to bring fast results. You can also work with Herma. Herma is the Norse messenger of the gods. Or you can work with Nike, the Greek goddess of speed, strength, and victory, or Atalanta, who is the heroine, the Greek heroine, who is known for her fast running. She was the fastest person in the world. You can work with Savitar, the Hindu god of motion. You can also work with power animals, like I mentioned before, the fox, or you can work with the cheetah or the pronghorn or the marlin or the falcon or the eagle. These are beautiful power animals that are the fastest animals on earth. So wonderful to work with. Lastly, you can work with the elements, and the fastest element is the element of wind. You think about those winds that go over 100 miles an hour. Wind is so fast. And so working with the element of wind can also speed up your spell work. So there you have it, all my tips and tricks for speeding up your spell work. Well, that about does it for this episode of Magic and the Law of Attraction. If you would like to get even more info about candle magic and candle spells, then check out the Learn page over at the Parlor of Wonders, where you will find a ton of free resources, including workshops, blog posts, how-to guides, how-to videos, past podcast episodes, and the way to join me live over Zoom for the Magic Q&A Tea Party every Sunday. Takes place at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern. Just go to parlorofwonders.com and click on the Learn tab to see all the goodies there. I want to say thank you to all the Spell Squad members out there who have subscribed to and shared this podcast with your friends. You guys are awesome. And I want to say thank you to the fabulous folks who have left reviews, even going above and beyond. They've left reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Those reviews are so helpful and wonderful, and I appreciate them. Thank you so much to Jill Navarre for production and engineering. Thank you to Manfred Hofer for announcing, and thank you to you for joining me. I'm looking forward to next episode when we'll be answering the question, how to make your bath time magical. Until next time, this is Madame Pamita saying, keep making your life the most magical adventure ever.